Hello and welcome to Cavell Group's Cloud Conversations podcast. My name is Patrick Watson. I'm head of research here at Cavell Group, and today's episode of the podcast builds up to Cavell Enable, an event that will take place in London on the 28th of November. This particular event will be focusing on enabling telephony services within collaboration applications like Microsoft Teams, Zoom, or Cisco WebEx. And for the event, we've got a really great selection of experts lined up from the collaboration providers themselves and also from some of the world's leading telephony specialists. So for today's episode, I'm joined by a company that specializes in this area, SIPPIO, who are just one of 6 Operator Connect accelerator partners for Microsoft Teams and also help providers enable telephony on the Zoom phone platform. Their Director of Program Management and Industry Veteran, Steve Forcum, joins me on the podcast today. How are you, Steve?
I'm doing good. How are you, Patrick?
Very well, thanks. So just for any listeners that might not be aware of SIPPIO, could you just give us a little bit of background in terms of your telephony enablement across both Microsoft Teams and Zoom?
Yeah, so what you're describing is what we do. You know, what we really kind of strive for is to be the fast, easy, and flexible platform for partners to help their customers migrate from their legacy phone systems to new modern collaboration calling solutions for Teams or Zoom. The growth is just going through the roof in those spaces, and we've developed a really agile platform that can turn users up in minutes, that has full transparency for the end customer, and it just enables our partners to really succeed in a growth marketplace.
Yeah, and you talk about that growth marketplace, and we probably should give a bit of context there. Obviously, there's been huge growth in uptake of collaboration platforms, particularly Microsoft Teams, but also Zoom as well. And one of the key services that generally isn't available as standard within those platforms are PSTN and mobile telephony services. You're seeing more and more partners and therefore end customers looking to enable telephony services within those collaboration platforms.
Yeah, and this goes back to my previous employer as well. I mean, I saw this, and this was my thesis for joining a startup like SIPPIO, was that, you know, customers increasingly see voice as something that you turn on as a feature instead of something that you buy like a platform. And Microsoft Teams and Zoom just dominate this marketplace. Between the two of them, there's probably close to 500 million monthly active users. But realistically, if you look at, to your point, the telephony enabled users, there's only roughly, I think, 20 million or so. So there's a tremendous marketplace for partners to jump in here because that's growing quick. You know, Microsoft reported, I think it was 45% year-over-year growth of Teams Phone adoption. Zoom has been growing at 100% year-over-year clip with Zoom Phone. And that was before the kerosene was going to get dumped on the bonfire in the form of AI. You know, so Zoom launched AI Companion. Microsoft is coming out with Copilot here, I think today, actually. We're recording this on the 1st. So this is going to create a tsunami wave of demand for partners to help customers facilitate this transition over. Before, the discussion was all about reductions in cost. It was about consolidating the app sprawl for end users. Innovation is happening here. It's not happening on those legacy phone systems. But the AI wave is going to drive just an incredible amount of demand. And I think it's going to be where these solutions jump from the early adopter slice of the market to the early majority slice of the market. And it's a great time for a partner to jump in, and we make it easy.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. So in terms of the proportion of the sort of basic collaboration users that have telephony enabled, the proportions are incredibly low. It's around 5 to 10%, both across Microsoft and Zoom. As you said, it's about 20 million users at the moment out of sort of 400 million. And some of those new features that you mentioned coming along, the sort of AI enhancements, should really drive that. So one thing I wanted to talk to you about in particular, so one of the ways to enable telephony within Microsoft Teams is through Operator Connect. So it's a certification program that operators can join. I think there's more than 70 operators certified on the platform for Operator Connect at the moment through Teams. But there's huge demand for that outside of those that have already deployed. And something that you've launched at SIPPIO is Operator Connect for partners. So I wanted to understand a bit more about what that service is.
So at SIPPIO, we understand the value of the channel, the value of partners and their role as the trusted advisor to the end customer. And Operator Connect, to your point, inherently is for operators. It's for network operators to offer these services. And that really restricts the marketplace. It creates confusion because, do you need direct routing? Do you need Operator Connect? Customers just saying, I just want to turn on Teams phone. I just want to turn on Zoom phone. What is Operator Connect? What is direct routing? Operator Connect is a great service because it really automates or enables the automation. Not everybody's done that, but enables the automation of activation for end users. So a user can hit a website, an e-commerce like field, just like shopping on Amazon. They can place their order and potentially within minutes, they can actually have PSTN enabled inside of Teams. But it was limited to people that had the network infrastructure that could build around Microsoft's reference architecture. It's a 60 some odd page document. You've got to be certified to do it. And us understanding the value of the channel partner, we wanted to bring this dynamic solution and democratize access to it. So we launched Operator Connect for partners, which enables our partners in the channel to offer their customers Teams phone however they need it. So if they need direct routing, our platform supports direct routing as a service. If they choose to use Operator Connect, which is increasingly the adoption path, that's done in the same platform as well. And a channel partner who doesn't want to get into the network architecture place, they don't want to build out giant, infrastructures to connect in, they can use our platform end to end in order to sell into this channel, or operators can use us to use our platform and build with SIPPIO. They can actually augment their existing deployments based off what their needs are. So our platform's super flexible depending on the partner. And for our channel partners, it's really given them access to a marketplace that just wasn't there before. If they tried to kind of for this marketplace with just direct routing or DRAS, their area for success, their reachable market would be limited.
Yeah, I think that's the really key point there. Effectively, the market for telephony within these collaboration platforms, and particularly within Teams and Operator Connect, has been restricted. We know that there are hundreds of providers who have asked Microsoft to get on the Operator Connect certification list and become part of the platform, who haven't been able to either because of infrastructure costs and all those other areas. So effectively, you're looking to open that part of the market up to those providers that it might have been restricted to previously.
Yeah, so a channel partner who wants to get in, they want to introduce Teams phone to their customers, however the tool, whether it's a Operator Connect deployment or DRAS deployment or both, we want to give them the tools to succeed in this marketplace and to really leverage Operator Connect to enhance the part of their business that they really depend on. That's the services side. Leveraging an automated turnup that has no pro service requirement from the supplier creates a free lane for a channel partner to include their own value added services with higher margins, because you're not trying to, take something from the supplier, mark it up, and then try and sell it that way. So it really is a win-win for a channel partner. They get access to a program that they didn't have access to before. It helps them speed up the activation, which increases time to revenue, and it gives them the ability to earn higher margins on their consulting and professional services, whereas that was a bit of a lane that the suppliers and the channel partners always butted heads in. I ran into that all the time in my past.
So you launched the service earlier on this year. What's the interest been like from those channel partners in terms of potential uptake?
It has been incredible. We've seen a ton of interest in the technology solution brokerage channel. We've had a pipeline that's grown probably about 100x in 4 months because we're narrating something that is in interest. The channel partners, by and large, see Teams as an obstacle instead of an opportunity because they've been locked out of programs like Operator Connect. They see that as a competitive because, oh my gosh, my customer can just go to the marketplace and they can get their service within minutes. So by giving them access to this toolkit, it's helping them see the opportunity differently. Instead of seeing Teams as a competitive threat, and I've got to try and sell something that integrates in that, the customer is not using 2/3 of what they're buying. If they're buying UCaaS with the express purpose of integrating with Teams, that's a hard sell. So offering them a path with Operator Connect for partners to sell the cheese for somebody else's hamburger makes them more successful. It's an easier sale. It's a sale that the customer is actually asking for. So you're pushing the boulder downhill instead of trying to push it uphill. And at the end of the day, it's a heck of a lot more lucrative because you're not, us as a supplier, we're not trying to maintain, a messaging and a video platform. We're literally offering a service that's complementary to something your customers already adopted. That to me is really offering them, the innovation without requiring a platform change.
Yeah, it's a really interesting and dynamic area. So we thought for this episode, rather than just as the listener, you having to take mine or Steve's word for this, we would speak to a SIPPIO partner who is already taking advantage of this service. So I am delighted to introduce CEO and co-founder of Cloud Revolution, Chad McGreanor. Chad, thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure to have you. I'll tell you, well, first of all, can you explain a little bit about Cloud Revolution, your business?
Sure. Cloud Revolution is a communications and collaboration focused partner. We focus mainly on phone system enablement around the Microsoft solution stack, so mainly Microsoft Teams. So the majority of our customers have some sort of involvement with Teams Phone, whether that's the phone system workload, as I mentioned, Teams room systems, and extending that into customer experience and contact center. So we are all about the communications and collaboration workloads.
Interesting. So in terms of the telephony enablement options, that's an area that you've been focusing on for a while at Cloud Revolution. So why have you partnered with SIPPIO in their Operator Connect for Partner service?
We've seen a trend over the past few years, I think, since the pandemic through where we are now, with customers not really needing to understand all the details around the technical components of how to enable a service. As Steve mentioned, they just want to enable a service, not go through this long process of installing it or configuring it for that, as far as that's concerned. So our partnership with SIPPIO was really due to the fact of providing our customers with a simple method for enabling telco related services. So specifically in this case, Operator Connect. In addition, some of the partnership aspects that we saw that were interesting to us is that we wanted to partner with not only just like a vendor that provides Operator Connect, but a partner. We want to work with a partner partnering together with solutions. And SIPPIO made sense. Their toolkit that they provide with their portal access that we use to provision our quote to cash process, which is what we found our success is mainly, how fast can we get quotes back in the customer's hands, is a huge deal. And having access to that pricing in the portal to create our own quotes, to then turn that back around to our customers, there were just so many check boxes there. It just seemed like SIPPIO just got it, for a lack of a better term, as far as how you work with a partner that's executing against these services. So, that's some of the main advantages that we've seen.
So effectively, it's twofold. It's not just access to a marketplace, and that is effectively what Operator Connect is. It's a telephony marketplace within Teams, within the Teams admin center, as Steve was talking about, that in theory for users is easy to deploy and administer. It's twofold. It's access to those markets, and it's also some of the benefits on the OSS BSS administration side from your perspective.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm echoing a lot of what Steve mentioned already. We're seeing the results of that. We as a partner would not even attempt to become what you would consider an Operator Connect certified partner, because that's something that, we focus on the services implementation component. So working with SIPPIO, and they've already went through the heavy lift of becoming the Operator Connect certified partner, is what allows us to not only differentiate with our customers. We have an offer called, Teams Phone Operator Connect powered by SIPPIO, and essentially, Microsoft and these vendors are asking, the customers are getting clued into some of the terminology and the way that they should connect their environment. And when they're asking about Operator Connect, we cannot be left in a position where we cannot offer that service. So the partnership with SIPPIO allows us to extend that service offering and seamlessly provide that to the customer, get out of that conversation completely around, well, can you do this? Can you not do that? Or how do I get Operator Connect? Can you introduce me to somebody? No, we are the partner, and we partner along with SIPPIO to provide that service to the customer.
Yeah, really interesting. And just as a sort of final point, in terms of customer demand, obviously you've been having requests from customers, as you said, they're becoming more familiar with the terminology and the telephony enablement options. Just how big do you think the opportunity is for a partner like yourselves if you're able to leverage some of that available market?
I think as we get, the mindset with the customer has a lot to do with the way they're purchasing these days. I cannot stress enough how different it is today versus the way it was 5 years ago. Customers were expecting a different engagement and sales model, where today we're fighting against some concepts of commoditization, and we need to execute in a way that makes it seem like we are enabling this service quickly, efficiently, and getting the customer online in a way that feels like that we're aligning with the services from a perspective where customers are just executing and asking for service enablement. We're just getting that job done. So that's sort of the battle that we're fighting there. There's a ton of upside as it relates to this because we're making it simple. Anytime you talk to a customer, and if you are making it overcomplicated, which we've seen in the past where it was complicated, you had to have a lot of conversations and, well, here's how you connect this to that, or your SIP trunk over here, or your VPN into the service provider. They don't want to talk about that anymore. They just want to have it turned on, and we will handle all of those components in the back end. It's not for the customer's concern. Now, we will help them understand how it works if they want to know, but they don't, at this point, honestly, just don't care. Just make it work when it's approved by Microsoft, and then tell me when it's done. And I cannot oversimplify that enough. That's what we're hearing from customers these days.
Excellent. I suppose that's the whole idea behind it, is this easy deployment and easily adding telephony services to collaboration. Well, thank you so much to both Steve from SIPPIO and Chad from Cloud Revolution for coming on. If you want to learn more about SIPPIO's Operator Connect for Partners, then you can find their website at sippio.io. Also, there are still some tickets left for Cavell Enable, as I said, which takes place on the 28th of November in London. So if you want to know more about the content, speakers and agenda for that, head to cavellgroup.com/events. That's it for today's podcast, though. Thanks again to both Steve and Chad, and I look forward to hopefully seeing any listeners in London on the 28th of November. Until next time, it's goodbye from Cavell.